Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoil. I want to talk to you today about toast makes dogs itchy. I've got 3 dogs, and my little Albert there, my little white one at the back, he has suddenly, out of nowhere, got really itchy. If you know anything about my channel, you'll know my journey with hot spots. So when he came to us 10 years ago, his whole body was covered in hot spots. It was terrible, really, really awful. And nothing the vet did worked, nothing I did worked. It was terrible. But I went slightly fanatical about researching hot spots and itchy skin and managed to clear the whole thing up, stop it. And in 10 years, we've never had anything. No itchy skin, no hot spots, nothing. I stick strictly to the routine that I stick to. So for him to suddenly be really, really itchy was a shock because I haven't changed anything and I knew there was nothing that I was doing that was causing it. So at the moment he's not actually itching. They've just got back from their walk and their feet are all wet, and so they're just licking the, that's just normal licking their paws because they're wet after a walk. But I'm talking about all his belly and all around his side. In a minute I'll go and show you and see if you can see it. But he really, really scratching it, and it's terrible. And like I said, I haven't changed anything. However, we had some people come to stay for a few days, and I was strict. Nobody is to feed the dogs anything. Really clear about it. And they didn't listen. And they don't have dogs, they're not dog people. I suppose they just don't understand how important this kind of stuff is. And in the mornings, I was taking them their breakfast in bed because they were coming here for a bit of a recovery thing. And so I was taking them their breakfast in bed. So part of that breakfast was some toast, which was wholemeal and rye toast. And little Albert was going up and getting into bed with them. But I thought because I'd said not to be feeding anybody anything, I thought they'd listen to that, and they weren't doing it. And I did repeat myself a few times. Anyway, they weren't listening to me. And it turns out that they were giving him bits of toast. Toast is full of grain. Grain turns to sugar. Sugar causes inflammation and causes dogs to be itchy. Grain, so like I said, I've spent like the last 10 years, well, I researched it 10 years ago, found out about it, and for the last 10 years I've been studying it and watching it and talking to people, helping people with dogs. I've helped so many dogs no longer have itchy skin and hot spots through getting them off the grain. So a couple of things. The people said, yeah, but this toast is really healthy. Yeah, it is. It was wholemeal and rye bread. That's what I eat for my breakfast in the morning. It doesn't matter. Grain is grain is grain is grain. With us, it's different. If you get a grain so if you eat white flour, white pasta, white bread, that grain turns to sugar and then will cause the harm in your body. If we eat wholemeal and whole grains, so brown grains, rye grain, or that kind of thing, it doesn't do the same to our body. It actually benefits our body. But I don't want to get into that. This isn't about, you and me and what we're eating. It's about the dogs. Dogs cannot eat grains. They just cannot eat them. They were here for 3 days. So for 3 days he had they were giving him, turns out they were giving him like half of a crust. And he's only a little dog. But it wasn't a lot of toast. It wasn't a lot. And to cause the state that he is in, just from that, it's so, and then it gets me thinking, so if just that little bit of grain has flared everything back up in him, the dogs that are fed actual grain in their diet, it's no wonder as soon as you yeah, I know, hello my darling, you're not itchy, are you? You're not an itchy boy. They weren't giving you toast, were they? They were only giving it to to Albert. But it just shows you that grain in food. So that was for 3 days. Yeah, I know, we'll do belly rubs. I know, we'll do belly rubs. For 3 days, he was given a little tiny piece of toast. And the state he's in now. And so this was 3 days ago. So we're 3 days in, and he's still in quite a bad way. So I'm going to tell you in a minute what I'm doing for him. If you do not know my channel, you don't know me, please, at the end, I'm going to put up a playlist about all about this. So there's loads of videos. There's videos about my journey with hot spots and itchy skin and how I've completely cured my dog from it. Yeah, I know. Are you trying to grab the wire? You can't grab the wire, darling, because I've got to record. How am I going to record if you're grabbing the wire? There's also videos on there so you can understand whether or not your dog food contains grain. I go through just look, please go through. If your dog is itchy, I know everybody's busy and I know, you know, no one has time these days, but please, if your dog is itchy, or even if your dog isn't itchy, if you've got a dog, would you please watch the videos? I'm going to put it up at the end. It's a playlist. It's a hotspot playlist. Would you please watch them? Because dogs are suffering because they're being fed grain. So I've got a dog here trying to get belly rubs. You can't have belly rubs. In a minute we'll have belly rubs. But, you know, grains are just such a terrible thing for dogs, and they're in dog treats. Obviously, they're in toast. They're in so many dog foods. So many dog foods. So many dog foods are mostly just grain because it's cheap and it's a filler, but it makes dogs so ill. So please, even if your dog's itchy, you definitely need to please watch it. If your dog isn't itchy, it's still worth watching. I have another playlist as well, which is just talking about itchy skin and other causes, because sometimes there are other causes, like the heating going on, air conditioning going on, allergies, stuff like that. So there are sometimes other causes, and I do there's a whole playlist about that as well. But this is focusing on grains because grains are the main culprit. Well, I was gonna see if I could show you his red bits, but I don't want to disturb him because he's sleeping. If you can, I don't know if you can see there. Can you see he's got a patch there, a little pink bit there. Under his tummy is where it really is bad though. He's really been scratching that. So let me show you what I'm using. So you know my channel. If you know my channel, I'm not sponsored. There is nothing about this. This is me doing the absolute best for my dog. And for the last 10 years, I've been using Johnson's Tea Tree, this spray and this cream. Now, it turns out that it's the tea tree that does the job. And some of you have been saying to me, if you're in America, that you've managed to get hold of it through Amazon. And it's done wonders for your dog with taking them off the grain-free food. Others of you have told me that you can't get hold of it. So I contacted Johnson's, who it turns out are in Ireland, which would make sense as to why I can get it so easily. Johnson said that they can't. I'm a bit confused because they said they can't sell it in America because of licensing laws. But some of you are getting hold of it, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So the conclusion that I came to was it doesn't matter. It's the tea tree that is the ingredients that does the wonders, and it really does. You've got to find a cream that's got tea tree in it. Never, ever, ever, ever just put neat tea tree oil on your dog. It is toxic in those amounts. But in amounts that it is in cream, it isn't. Now, I was thinking about doing a video and investigating how you could just get some dog cream and add tea tree to it. I decided not to do it because it's too dodgy if you put too much in there. So you do need to buy a cream that includes tea tree in it. Or I guess if you are an aromatherapist or something like that, then you would probably know more about how to do that sort of thing. Actually, that's what I should do, shouldn't I? I should talk to a... Would it be an aromatherapist that deals with oils like that? I think it would be. That's what I'll do. I'll try and hunt down a aromatherapist and see if they can advise me more on how we could maybe add tea tree to a carrier oil or something. But I'll leave that with me. I'll see what I can do about that. Now, so the spray is fabulous because basically there's that little pink spot I showed you, but apart from that, there isn't really there's no hot spots. It's not like that. It's just general red skin, general itching, and that spray is brilliant because it let me show you it in case you don't know it. So look, it's Johnson's Tea Tree Skin Calm, and you can just spray it all over a general area, and it's sort of like a water really. You spray it over the whole general area and then give it a really, really good rub in. So that's been really good. So I've been doing that maybe 3 or 4 times a day. And then the cream, let me show you, just Johnson's Tea Tree Skin Cream. So that spot I've shown you, that little pink spot, he's got a couple like that on his tummy. And so I've been putting that cream on it, and then really, really, really rubbing it in, and then carrying him around for a bit, taking him out in the garden for a wander around, because otherwise he's just going to lick it all off. He's still going to lick it afterwards, and he is still going to take some in, but that's never been a problem. In 10 years, I've never had any problem with that at all. Just try and get in as much as you can. to get it to soak in. But then, you know, he is going to lick some off. So you kind of, that's just dogs, isn't it? That's just the way it goes. I'm so against putting those cones around their neck, because I think if you've got something that's that itchy and you can't get to it, that's awful. And it doesn't do anything anyway in this situation, because they can still scratch with their claws. Now, because they can scratch with their claws, I've talked about this in so many videos, but it is just something I do all the time, and it's brilliant. Well, I don't do it all the time because my dogs aren't itchy, but anything ever comes up, this is what I do. So you get yourself a kitchen towel. Tissue does work, but I find that tissue is just a little bit too... I thought Harry was going to bark then. He looked like he was going to bark at the front door. No, he's not. So just get yourself a piece of kitchen towel, fold it into 4, and any time I see him scratching, I get hold of this kitchen towel and I give it a rub for him, because this is not going to tear him open. Him doing it with his claws is going to cause all sorts of massive problems, but doing it just with a piece of kitchen towel is not going to cause any damage, and it helps with the itching. And I've said this before, but if you are dealing with an insect bite or hotspot, don't rub the actual thing with this. You have to, right, let's say that the hotspot is this shape here in the middle. So you need to go like that around the outside. Go like that all around the outside of it. Don't actually scratch the middle bit. Harry here, he had a terrible gnat bite last year that got, oh, it was driving him crazy. It was so itchy. And obviously if he kept going at it, it was never going to heal. And so using the cream and the spray, and then the mixture of doing this around it, because obviously if you've got a gnat bite or you've got a hot spot, you don't want to be doing that over the top of it. But because Albert's skin is just generally, hang on, I've got to go Albert scratching. Yeah, he just suddenly started scratching really bad, so I just jumped up with my piece of kitchen roll and got in there and scratched it for him so that he didn't pull himself to bits. So we're 3 days in now, so I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty much there. I think we're pretty much cleared up. Obviously, everything, you know, is absolutely grain free, as it always is with me. Please, if you've got any questions about this, don't hesitate. And I know some of you have contacted me, and we've been doing a lot of backwards and forwards, and we've stopped these dogs from suffering. And that is what my whole channel, I'm not interested in making money. I'm not interested in any of that. That's why you will never see me do a sponsored ad or anything like that. I'm not interested. Not interested. I need you to believe me when I tell you a product is good. And this channel is all about helping dogs. Can you hear Humps pulling the... This channel is all about making dogs' lives better. That's all I care about. And hot spots and itchy skin is such a massive problem with dogs. And so if you've got a dog that you've got problems with, don't hesitate to contact me. It might not even be itchy skin and hot spots. It could be anything. If you look at my channel, you wouldn't believe the dogs I've had over the years, the problems they've thrown at me. I've had to deal with everything. And I'm really happy to help if I can. So please don't hesitate to contact me, and if you need any help at all, just put it into comments and I will help you. You know where I am on the socials. I'm trying to get a bit more organised. So this is what I say this every video, but I'm trying to get more organised. So dog tip of the day is going to go on TikTok. Dog walk photo challenge, which is where I take a photograph of something in nature so that I'm enjoying nature while I'm out on my walk. It's going to be on Instagram. I've no idea what I'm doing with Twitter because I can't work out what is going on over there, so I'm not doing anything on there at the moment. So Instagram, all under Furry and Spoils. Instagram is Dog Walk Photo Challenge, and you'll just get pictures of my gorgeous boys. And then TikTok is Dog Tip of the Day. And then obviously YouTube is the long detailed videos. So in a minute, any minute now, you will get the playlist pop up. Please go and watch it, because even if your dog isn't suffering, it's something that you should be aware of, because grains are just so bad for dogs. And even if your dog isn't itchy or hasn't got hot spots, Humps, oh, Humps is off. Humps has a new job, don't you, darling? You've got a new job, haven't you? You guard the back gate. We haven't had Humps for very long, and he's come from the most awful situation. And it's a very, very clever dog. And so he's been given the job of guarding our back gate. And I have no problem with that at all, because the second I say to him it's okay, he stops and he comes back. But just to, you're having a little sleep. You're not doing a very good guard job now, are you? And it's been day to day, so we have lots of different people wandering up and down the back of our house, back of our garden, with their bins. So Humps goes off to see what's going on. So it gives him a little job to do. And then as soon as I say okay, he comes back. He's a good boy. So that's it then. So my poor little, I can't tell you, I feel unbelievably bad about what's happened to Albert. So bad about it, because I just feel so terrible about it. It should never have happened. But it's also another thing, isn't it? If you've got people coming to stay, make sure they know the rules around the dogs. I thought I made it clear, but obviously I hadn't. But I felt absolutely shockingly awful about it. Oh, actually, I might be able to show you his itchy tummy now. Let me have a see if we can. You can see there's a bit there. See that little pink bit at the bottom of the camera? So anyway, that's it. Hopefully it'll be cleared up really, really quickly. So thank you very much for watching. Don't hesitate to ask me for help, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.